The Strangers are back, and with Chapter 2 just hitting theaters, I thought it was the perfect time to revisit every film in the franchise so far. 3 killers, 3 masks, and 3 very different entries that range from frustrating to iconic to surprisingly fun. Today I'm breaking them all down and giving you my personal ranking of the Strangers franchise. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So with the release of The Strangers Chapter 2, I went back and watched every film in the franchise so far. These are home invasion slasher horror films based around a trio of killers who pick their victims completely at random. They break into homes, stalk, toy with, and ultimately kill their targets. It's a simple but terrifying setup that's worked its way into horror fans' nightmares for over a decade. I'll be honest, I had never seen any of these movies prior to preparing for Chapter 2. It was a blind spot for me, one I knew I needed to fix, so I finally sat down and worked through the franchise. And now I'm going to give you my official ranking of all 3 films. Stick around because tomorrow I'll have my review up for The Strangers Chapter 2 itself. Before we get into the ranking, if you enjoy this kind of breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss tomorrow's review. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, I have a Patreon where you can chip in just $1 a month. It goes a long way in helping me keep making these videos. So coming in at number 3 on my ranking, to nobody's surprise, we have The Strangers Chapter 1. When their car breaks down in a creepy small town, a young couple finds themselves stranded overnight. They take shelter in a remote cabin, but what begins as an inconvenience quickly spirals into a nightmare. 3 masked strangers descend upon them, mercilessly terrorizing the couple with no reason, no explanation, and no mercy. This one's easily the weakest of the series. It's essentially a remake of the original film, but it does everything worse. The characters make some of the most baffling, frustrating decisions I've seen in a horror movie in years. And yes, poor choices are par for the course in slashers, but this takes it to a whole new level. We're talking about people who ignore obvious threats just to casually smoke a joint instead of calling for help, or who sit helplessly in a car while a killer smashes the window with an axe instead of running for their lives. The most maddening moment comes when one of the killers is literally held at shotgun point, and instead of pulling the trigger, the character just talks. It's the kind of writing that makes you yell at the screen. The movie also mirrors the original beat for beat, with only a few minor changes, but none of them improve on the story. And what really stings is wasting Richard Brake, an actor who can elevate almost anything by casting him as a sheriff who shows up for maybe 30 seconds and doesn't even have a line of dialogue. Huge missed opportunity. As a supposed kickoff to a reboot trilogy, Chapter 1 feels hollow and pointless. It left me wondering why this had to be a trilogy at all. And now coming in at number 2, the one that started it all, The Strangers. After coming home from a wedding reception, a couple staying at a remote vacation house faces an unexpected knock at the door. That knock turns into a nightmare as 3 masked strangers infiltrate their home. Trapped inside and cut off from help, the couple must fight for their lives as the intruders toy with them before eventually unleashing brutal violence. So this is the film that put the franchise on the map, and it's easy to see why. The premise is scarily grounded. The idea that someone could target you for absolutely no reason other than bad luck. That's pretty chilling. But while I did enjoy the movie, it's far from perfect. Once again, the characters are frustratingly dumb. When the female lead reports being terrorized, her boyfriend dismisses it like she's imagining things, even though she clearly has no reason to lie. Then when he realizes the strangers are real, his immediate instinct is to run outside and confront them head on. Not exactly survival instincts. The first act also moves pretty slowly. While it does a good job of fleshing out the couple's troubled relationship and making them sympathetic, it meanders a bit before the real terror begins. That said, the third act makes up for a lot. This is where the film solidifies its iconic reputation. The strangers' sadistic cat and mouse behavior is truly unsettling. They torment their victims, retreat, and come back, all for the thrill of the game. game. And of course there's that infamous exchange. "Why are you doing this?" followed by "because you were home." Simple, cold, and terrifying. And the fact that the killers actually remove their masks at the end, choosing to show their faces before finishing the job, adds an extra layer of cruelty. It's not about anonymity for them, it's about letting their victims know exactly who destroyed them. That nihilistic cruelty is what's made The Strangers endure as one of the most memorable horror films of the 2000s. And now coming in at number 1, what you've all been waiting for, my favorite entry in the Strangers franchise, we have The Strangers Pray at Night. Mike and Cindy take their teenage son and daughter on what's supposed to be a relaxing road trip. But when they stop at a secluded mobile home park, things quickly take a sinister turn. The community is eerily deserted, and before long, the family finds themselves stalked and hunted by the trio of masked psychopaths. What follows is a brutal fight for survival as the strangers unleash their bloodlust. Now, I know this might be controversial, but this is my favorite entry in the franchise. I'll be upfront, I don't think any of these movies are masterpieces, and I'm not sure the franchise even needed to exist beyond one film. But in terms of pure entertainment, Pray at Night was the most fun I had watching these killers at work. This one leans into a throwback slasher vibe, and the strangers are much more active and upfront this time around. Now that might hurt the mystique for some viewers, but I actually enjoyed the shift. It gave the film a faster pace and more bloody, brutal set pieces that really delivered on the slasher promise. Another big difference is that the victims actually fight back here. The son and daughter don't just cower, they put up a good fight and even manage to kill Dollface and Pinup Girl. That alone makes this one stand out. The daughter in particular is easily the most engaging protagonist in the whole series. The violence is nastier, the kills are bloodier, and the tone is gleefully mean-spirited. It feels like the filmmakers leaned all the way into what makes the strangers frightening, and it works. Now, the characters still make some questionable choices. This is still the Strangers franchise after all. The son hesitates at one point when he has Dollface at gunpoint, echoing the same issue I had with Chapter 1. But here it doesn't derail the tension as badly because the family is otherwise resourceful and actively fighting back. For me, Pray at Night is the closest this franchise has come to capturing the fun of a classic slasher while still keeping that sadistic edge. So there you have it. That's my ranking of the Strangers franchise so far. And at the end of the day, I'd say I like this series overall, but I don't really love any of the films. Even my favorite, Pray at Night, would only get a 3.5 out of 5 from me. Chapter 1 was a huge disappointment and felt pretty pointless, while the original is iconic but flawed. Still, I'm hoping Chapter 2 might shake things up and breathe some new life into the series. We'll see soon enough. My full review for that one will be up tomorrow. If you enjoyed this ranking, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when my Chapter 2 review drops. And again, if you'd like to support the channel directly, my Patreon is just $1 a month. It really helps me keep these videos coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.